right, everybody, we are back. Welcome to Mind Your Business Show. I'm Jeanette Johnson with Century 21 Connect Realty,
And I'm Isaiah Lives with Primerica Financial Services.
and welcome back. We have been out for a little while, but we just wanted to, refresh, start something new, and come back with, clearer minds, some more topics to discuss this season. So I'm excited.
Yeah, back in the mind, back in the mind.
Oh, there
Season
we go.
2. Let's go.
Hey everyone, it's Jeanette Johnson with Jeanette Johnson with Century 21 Connect Realty. However, if you don't know anything about
That's
what it
super
takes,
daunting, especially when it comes down to the inflation.
and always remember to mind your business. Okay, so welcome back. We're excited to be new, refreshed, kind of back on track with us. We just wanted a little bit of a, reset, get us something more exciting and fresh for season 2. So we're happy to be here. What about yourself?
Definitely excited to be here. So happy to be back in the studio, back shooting alongside with you and everything. Back ready to be back to share some more knowledge, experience, opinions, thoughts, ideas about the housing market, financial world, just
Mm-hmm.
to give our viewers a little something to sink their teeth into, you know?
Yeah, and one topic that's really kind of fresh on my mind, and I know you experience this pretty often as well, is just when you're entering the world of business, you experience getting ghosted.
Ooh. Yep.
And getting ghosted is a reality that I'm sure people face, even not um in the business world. I mean, people face getting ghosted just like in relationships, when you're dating, like when you're out just trying to meet new people, you experience a ghost or two. But it is very real and prevalent in the business world, specifically, in real estate, reaching out to people and not getting
Mhm.
a response back. And then even in the financial world, reaching out to people, life insurance, things like that, and then not getting a response. So tell us, what is an experience you might have had where you're like, okay, I got ghosted. This is how I handled it. And this is maybe how I'll handle it in the future.
There's a lot of parts to that question right there, because yeah, we do all get ghosted. Yeah, it's not just in the dating world, it's in all sorts of type of things and everything. But when it comes down to like my experience in the financial world, kind of get ghosted in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
It's not just the well, it is a lot of times you never hear from that person again. We call it witness protection. But it's like you so many times that I've talked to people, because there's different stages of the process of meeting with a client, as far as like prospecting and getting ghosted on that end,
Right.
meeting with them, getting ghosted on an appointment, and then like maybe the follow up, follow through, like you already had the appointment and it's time to move forward. You set out a plan for somebody and then they ghost you in that area. So I would say on the prospecting end, that's the more time where I feel like it's better to be ghosted. I'd rather get ghosted on the prospect and then on the
Like
front end
emotionally, you're like,
than
okay, I'm
yeah.
not entirely attached to you. So if you don't respond to me, I'm not like waiting for you.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Like so you out, might get a name and number, or you can be on social media, get a name and number, someone interested in the services that we provide or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then next thing you know, it's like, okay, I'll talk to you Tuesday at 5 o'clock. Tuesday at 5 o'clock, like we said, we gonna give them that call. 5 o'clock on the dot. And no answer. It's like, okay, it could be busy. It could be busy.
Yeah.
Then send them a text, no answer. You're like, okay, might not have seen it yet. You still say a little hopeful and everything, but at the same time, after you going through the being so long into business, then you kind of understand what's going on. And this is why you have to have a lot of people in your database too, and then a lot of people in the pipeline, a lot of new
Mm-hmm.
prospects coming through, because you
Mm-hmm.
never know who's a ghost and who's for sure.
Well, I mean, you should assume most people are gonna not respond, because that's the whole idea of having as many people as possible in your database or your pipeline. Because
Weird, because
most people
actually I
aren't
don't
gonna
know.
respond.
It's weird. I actually think the opposite. Like I guess that's why I'm always like kind of optimistic and hopeful whenever I have some people in the pipeline, because I'm always thinking I have what you need. There's a market, there's a need. I have what you need,
Hmm.
and you're gonna come get it from me.
Well, I think that there's definitely truth in that. I mean, and if you are in a position where you're in more of like the sales field,
Hmm.
like we are, then it's as that person who is attached to the product or the service, what you're providing is top notch. You
Right.
know what I mean? Unless you're in something where it's a little sleazy, but that's
Yeah.
neither here nor there. But in our fields, it's like we genuinely have stuff that's just for benefit to you.
Yeah.
Like, are there people out there who could take advantage of you in a way? Possibly, for sure. And we can't just overlook that. But overall, like, we're here to benefit you. So, like, when we're reaching out to you, it's not to harass you or like stalk you. It's a matter of being like, okay, we know we got something for you. But I think that there's a skill in the approach and
Hmm.
how you're kind of getting people to where you can have that optimistic
Yeah.
mindset and say, okay, a lot of these people are going to respond to me because of how I approach them. But I think naturally, like, we're in a society now where people are afraid to like
People are
get too
skeptical.
attached. Like, there's too many robots out there. There's too many
Hmm.
scammy people out there. So it's like just a simple text message like makes people jump out of their seat. And they're
Yeah.
like, "Is it the health insurance people? Contact me again." Like, is it this? I'm just sick of being pestered. And I feel like that's where you'll get people who are like, I'm just going to ghost because it's easier for me to ghost this person or this thing. I don't know if it's a robot. I don't know if it's a
Hmm.
real person, if it's AI, what it is, but I don't even want to be bothered with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So that's like on the front end that we just kind of talked about. So tell me,
Yeah.
Jeanette. So it's like when you go through the process, you're already through the prospecting, already through the preliminary type of things.
Yeah.
Have you been ghosted like in the middle before?
Yes. And I think
That's the
that's the
weirder thing.
craziest
I think
thing.
it's way
And I think
weirder.
that's why this
Like,
topic of conversation is
uh,
being brought up, really, because we've been hit where it hurts. You know what I mean?
hmm
And And if you think about it in the terms of dating, because honestly, that's kind of how you can
that's where
grasp this concept.
ghosting
It's like you're
started for
you're just
real.
introducing yourself to somebody. If you get ghosted at a bar or whatever, you're not gonna go home and cry about it. You're probably gonna be like, I mean,
Thought I'd hear
screw
from
that
this
person. You
person,
know what I mean?
but
Like, you're just
whatever.
gonna shake it off. But
Hmm
let's say you went on a few dates with the person and you guys really hit it off and you talked about, a third date or whatever. And then you start reaching out for that third date, and then it's like ghost,
Radio silence.
radio silence. You're like, was it me? Like, did my breath stink? Did we have,
Now you're
did I
thinking,
say
what
something that
happened?
this person really didn't like? It didn't resonate. So, like, you
Hmm
start overthinking and thinking and thinking about it. And you're like, how do I move past this situation? How do I get to a place where I'm comfortable knowing that I'm going to be ghosted?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But I find it so weird. Like once, like ghost me on the front end, but like once we like sit down and like, all right, so set an appointment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Supposed to talk to this person, they don't show or anything. That's kind of messed up because now you're not respecting your own time, but you're not respecting our time at the same
Right.
time because that's a slot that somebody else could be in. But
Absolutely.
it happens. People cancel, people reschedule. It happens. That's very understandable.
Yeah.
Uh, Sometimes I need to reschedule. I ain't gonna ghost you, but might need to reschedule. Things might not go exactly as planned all the time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but once we've like sat and talked, and you've told me your goals, you told me what you want, you told me everything that I need to know to be able to help you better, and I tell you, all right, here's a solution.
Yeah.
When I get ghosted on that part, that's when it's like, wait, I thought you wanted to be in a better position.
It's almost like somebody saying, "Oh, I've always wanted to go skydiving." And maybe this is a dramatic analogy, but like somebody saying, "I've always wanted to go skydiving." And you're like, "Okay, cool. I set it up." And you're like, "Okay, fantastic." And then you go and you drive in the car and then you get all the gear on, you do your little training thing and you're
Hmm
sitting there, you're like, "Okay, yeah, I'm ready for this. I'm ready for this." And then you get to the plane and you're like, "Nope, never
I'm out
mind."
of here.
It's like, okay, you had this goal in mind. You always, always, always wanted to do this goal.
Yeah.
You're right there, you're, like, touching it, and then now you're too afraid to kind of move forward with it. And I think, honestly, that's where the stemming of the ghosting comes from. It's just,
Mhm.
like, a
The level
fear
of
of
fear.
jumping off.
Yeah, jumping
Uh
off the porch.
yeah,
Yeah.
you just don't know how the result is gonna be, so you're like, "Okay, I'm really hesitant now."
Mhm.
Where before you were so encouraged and ready to go.
Yeah, because you got people sitting and talking. I want to do better financially. I want to save money better. I need to put my money in somewhere way more productive places. I've had countless $100,000+ conversations, and it's like, okay, I'm delivering the solution to you, and they be, oh wow, oh wow, I
Yeah.
haven't heard this before. This is great. This is, oh man, I definitely want to do this. Maybe they can just be gassing me up at the same time, but
But it's, like, not your
you see those people
responsibility to fully
later.
understand or know everything
Hmm.
going on in somebody's mind. Like, you wanna be able to guide in the best way possible, but how are you to know every little fear that they have, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. And people have a level of ego of where they're not sharing. They're not
Right.
as transparent in those situations because half the time it's a lot of money. So you might not fully, and it might be on my end as far as like establishing that trust on the front end.
Oh,
That might be the issue. Cause I'm always a person who looks at in those situations we was talking about where it's like, oh, was it me? Was it my breast thing?
mm.
Did I do something? I'm always the person who's like, it's not you. I just need to figure out a way to personal develop and get better for the
Yeah, I
future.
mean, for you in that business mindset, it's like, okay,
Hmm.
there's always room for me to grow.
Grow and improve.
But I also feel like detaching that personal aspect of it is really important too,
Hmm.
because mentally you don't want to burn yourself out always thinking you're the problem if
I
somebody
agree.
ghosts you. Because at the end of the day, I feel like it's typically not you.
Yeah,
It's
it's for the
typically
most
something
part.
that they're dealing with internally, and
Hmm.
they're afraid to confront that. And talking to you confronts that fear.
Yeah.
So definitely it's like, yeah, we can always try to say, okay, maybe it's my approach. Maybe I need to do this a little better. And honestly, it might be because
Hmm.
confidence, we're always working on confidence and skills in that way. But like, if you are dealing with somebody and they just run away from you, like, there's probably some sort of fear that they're facing that
Yeah.
they're not in a place to talk about it with you.
Yeah,
And
because
that's like, you
what
just
we
have to
do is
accept that.
very exposing. Like we
Yeah.
we deal with the real side of things because you got social media, you can present yourself as anybody. You got random conversations when people might go out to the bars and talk to their friends and talk to random people, and then they can put on whatever show that they want to be shown.
Yeah.
But when you sit down and talk to one of us, when it comes down to buying a house or dealing in finances, you're dealing with the real deal. There's no
Well, we're the middleman between people's dreams and reality. So
at the end
that's
of the day, yeah.
terrifying. I mean, imagine
Yeah.
like sitting thinking about a dream, which a lot of the times not even just a dream, a goal, but like to own a house is to some people unfathomable because they've never been in a
Yeah.
position where they've seen it be done or they've never had, you know, that reality grace them in their own life. So
Mhm.
it's like such a big top-notch goal to have, and then even to be wealthy, like, that's a big, huge goal for people to have, and they've never seen it before, they don't know how to implement it in their real everyday lives, and then here you come along,
Yeah.
being the person saying, "I can show you how to do it."
Hmm. And or it's simpler than that because wealth is a different level.
Yeah.
That's a huge level when it comes to wealth. But when it comes to financial independence, there's a little bit more bend in that because there's just a level of all my needs are met. I have extra and a little bit more than enough. I don't have anybody putting their thumb on me to where I can't do and
Right.
move how I want to, or retirement, for example. I always think of this
Mm.
like, why do we go to work? Most people work a job because one day they won't have to work a job, which is retirement.
Right.
So it's like, okay, so you want to retire? Yes. Okay. So you want to set up some stuff to make sure you can retire? Oh, whoa.
Well, because
It's
now
like, whoa.
nowadays too, like, the concept of
Hmm.
retirement is nothing like how it was for, like, our grandparents' generation, for
Hmm.
instance.
It's very different.
It's like that was just
That was
given.
an age.
Yeah, that was like, no matter what, you're
Hmm.
just gonna retire. So, like, you just expect that. And
Yeah.
now it's like, oh, I don't know if I even have the means to retire or if
A lot of
that's set
people
up for
don't.
me. You don't know what your job's offering a lot of the
Hmm.
times. And if you do know, you're not really focused on implementing it as high, as much as you used to, maybe as like the older generations were, because they
Yeah,
just knew like if I work this job long enough, I'm good
I'm good. And nowadays, retirement's a number, not an age. You can work till you're 80 and then still not be in a position to
to
retire
retire.
if you
So,
don't do the right things on the way up there.
right.
So that's
So
when
there's
the
a lot of
ghosting comes weird.
imitating, intimidating things that come your way when you're like experiencing this kind of stuff.
Hmm.
So in that sense, I'm like, okay, I totally get it. But then there's like the concepts where I know you deal with this pretty much all the time, where they're like, oh, well, I talked to my dad, or oh, well, I talked to
Oh,
my husband, or I've talked to my wife, and we're just not, we don't really know what this is, or like it's like they've done some sort of Google research or something, and it's totally scared them out of it,
yeah.
and everything that you said that was correct, reputable, made total sense to them sitting down just went out the window.
Yeah, it's like we sit down, have a plan, make a plan, and it's like, okay, because I'm always an educational first type of person. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna talk. I'm gonna teach you some new concepts that you might not have known. And for the majority of all age ranges, from 20 to hell in their 60s,
Yeah.
it's sometimes a lot of new information that they've never known, and they could have very well used it earlier. And it's like, okay, we get down to the nitty gritty, do a FNA, and it's like, all right, we're gonna zig, not zag. Zig on three. One, two, three, zig.
Zag.
And as soon as we get off the call, they zagging. I'm like, oh,
You're like,
okay,
whoa,
what
I thought we
happened?
had a
I thought
clear
we were on the
level
same
of
page.
understanding. And I mean, I guess that goes
And then not
into
talk to
building a
you.
relationship a little bit
Yeah.
stronger. And
Hmm.
that's really like the basis of our types of businesses, really
Yeah.
building relationships with people. Because if you don't have a trusting relationship, then you do look like that scammer who is
Right.
just texting and just reaching out. But building that bridge can become very difficult because of this ghosting mentality that everybody has. It's like building that bridge between stranger to friend,
Hmm.
or,
This is easier not
untrustworthy
to
to
respond.
trustworthy. It's so easy not to respond. It's so easy to ignore a call. It's so easy.
To say. And it's a level of procrastination too. It's like, okay, oh, my realtor's calling me. Oh, they're gonna wonder if I did the paperwork that I was supposed to do.
Yeah, and I get a
Click.
ton of those
And
where it's like I've been reached out to, um let's go ahead, I'm ready to start, like this is the journey I want to be on. And I say, okay, these are the steps we have to take before, we can even start talking about the fun stuff.
hmm
Like everybody wants to go look at houses.
yeah,
Until you just can't decide, then it becomes exhausting. But in the beginning, that's like the best part.
yeah,
You want to go
it's
into
fun.
that
It's
house, you
exciting.
want to tour it, you want to see what your bedroom might look like, what your kitchen might look like. You want to do that, all the fun stuff. But it's like
Mhm.
you got to get past that really annoying stuff in order to get to that first. Like that should be your reward essentially.
Right.
But getting through that exposing part, which is like finances and doing the lending applications and all of that to qualify for the mortgage, that's where people are like, ah,
Yeah.
get away, too much
Oh,
paperwork.
yeah.
And then they're just gonna drive you crazy because it's
Mhm.
like, well, we need this now. Now we need this.
Now
And it's
you're
like,
feeling
I
like
just
you're
gave you my
badgering them.
entire life and you still can't qualify for, I
Mhm.
still can't verify my income. It's like, what else do you need? Well, we need a drop of blood.
Yeah, I feel like, and that kind of leads to a bit of ghosting as well, because now it's like it might come across as if we're badgering them, and it's like we're not. We're just trying to get you through this process to your dreams and cross that goal to your dreams. We're
Yes.
not. I I would like it if I didn't have to call you every day to make sure you did XYZ, but you didn't do it on the first end, so I'm gonna have to call you to make sure you do
My
XYZ.
favorites are people who come with the goal in mind.
Hmm.
And don't get me wrong, I've definitely had to do that mentoring and get you to understand like this is the right decision for you and I'm
Hmm.
not taking advantage of you. Had to do that with people. I'm not against it. I understand that there's fears.
Yeah.
But like the people who come super serious, ready to go, and anytime you say, "Okay, this is what we need to do by tomorrow." And they're like, "I'll get it done in an hour." Bless your heart. Like, bless you. You are different and you are kind.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy to give people with that,
To
like with
move,
that
yeah.
same energy. And it's like you just have to look within and really, really, really want it. So it's like if somebody is pestering you to move forward with something, just send them a quick text and be like, I'm not interested right now.
Yeah, I mean, that would make things a lot easier. And one thing I was gonna say is, just on the train of thought of like ghosting, not to like kind of completely change thoughts.
Yeah.
There's a lot of noise like going on out in the world because there's so much different levels of information, and you might tell them, all right, here's the path. You have to do this play, run this play, run this play, run this play, and then we're gonna score with the goal in mind. And then they scroll, swipe, and then see a video, and that just derails everything.
Everything
And
that
now
they
they're
thought.
feeling like,
Yeah.
because it's social media, people can make it look like anything, make something look so glamorous, and giving so much basic preliminary
Bare
things in a
minimum
1 minute
info.
video.
Yeah.
I just sat and talked to you for 2 hours, 1 hour, 2 hours.
And like what we're saying to you is based off of you,
Mm-hmm.
not the masses.
Not
These
the masses,
videos
yeah.
are literally adhering to whoever this might apply to.
It's like those like you ever pass like a dealership or see a car commercial and they're like
Zero
zero down,
Yeah.
no money, you qualify for this car, buy it, no money down.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're saying
Monthly
somebody
payment.
can.
Monthly payment of this amount. It's like,
You're like, ooh,
who says that's you?
yeah, they didn't look at any
It's
of
most
your
likely not. And then you
your
get there
info.
and then you feel scammed.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, oh, they took advantage of me. It's a lie. So like you see these videos and then like I'm a comment reader, which I shouldn't, but I love the comment section because I like
peanut
go into
gallery.
the comment section just to verify if I'm crazy or not. Because like I'll
Mhm.
have a thought when I'm watching a video and I'd be like, I wonder if anybody else thought this. And then I'll see it and I'll be like, okay, I'm not crazy. Somebody else has verified my thought. So I'm a comment section person, but definitely need to stay out of them because they can get very vicious. But
Peanut gallery.
nonetheless, you'll see somebody be like, this is a scam. Don't believe it. Don't trust it. And it's like,
Mhm.
okay, scam, like it's not a scam. Like we're not scamming you. The deal exists. A scam is something that's like forged, fake, false. Like it's not real.
Yeah,
It plays out to be something that it's not. Like
something
and
that's fabricated.
exactly.
in
So it's like
some
these
way.
ads are not scams. These people making these videos, they're not scams. They're information that's real information. That's
Yeah,
very
for
true.
sure. Not discrediting
So
nobody.
it's like if you ever have a question and you say, okay, send it to your realtor and be like, what is this? I get DMs like that all the time. What is this?
Oof, me
Explain
too.
this to me. And it's like, okay, I'd much rather you send this and be like, what does this mean? Is this important? Like, should I be looking into this? And let me break it down for you. Than for us to have a full, functional, amazing conversation about moving forward with a property, moving
Mhm.
forward with your home buying dreams, and then you going online at night, seeing something and being like, I'm being scammed, and then ghost me. How do we get from
Yeah.
that exciting conversation to this part where you've seen enough stuff in the news or whatever, you feel taken advantage of, and us not have any level of communication in between there to either debunk, prove, or whatever? Because I'm going to tell you, if you find something better, I'm going to say, that's a good deal. Do that.
Right. And I also get DMs and stuff like that of people sending me videos, explain this, explain this, explain this. And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, sit and explain it, talk to them. And it's like, okay, cool. And it's like almost like they keep trying to find more videos and more information to see to just kind of prove me wrong. And I'm like, all right, now you can go with that if you want. I've already explained it to you. I've already broke it down to you. And I've told you the possible repercussions that's going to happen if you go that route.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of things talking about being your own bank.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into that today.
That's a whole nother
that's a whole
like
nother- that's a whole
45
nother
minutes
45
of
minutes.
just
Yeah, I'm not going to get
if
into
we
that
wanted to
today.
debunk any of those
Yeah.
narratives, we could. But
I always try to explain to like the average person the average client, middle America, how that might end up playing out for them. And it's like, okay, it makes sense. And then I tell them, okay, this is what this, that, and the third with that. And they say, okay, yeah, that doesn't sound right. But they can make it sound so glamorous in a video.
yeah.
1 minute, 60 seconds is all they need to change your whole perspective and dynamic.
So it's like
That's like,
everything
oh
you just
wow.
told them that's geared toward their success and their future because they're not like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, well, you didn't sell me this product. So this obviously you're just trying to make a sale. It's like, I mean, I can't convince you that I'm not trying to make money because at the end of the day, I wouldn't be here if I wasn't trying to make money. Like,
Yeah.
so like let's just get that out the way. It's not about taking advantage of you for the sale.
Right.
Like, I'm in this because I need to make money, of course. So
Mhm.
we're even talking about this in general.
So it's in
Because
my best interest to do the best job for you and not scam you because number one,
exactly.
I'm licensed and
Exactly. So like
big
if I
crime.
wanted to lie to you, then I don't even think I would just make up some just BS. Like why would I even want to get to know you?
I'll just make it sound like really good. Hell, I just seen you one of those videos. If I wanted to lie to you,
I would be like, that's fantastic. Let's do it.
Mhm.
Like, because I'm not selling you a product. You know what I mean? Like my business doesn't sell products. My business is literally getting you into being the middleman between your dream of being a homeowner and contracting the deal.
Mhm.
That's me. So I don't have any products to sell you. If you find a better deal, let's do it.
Yeah. On the flip side, I do have products to sell you, but at the same time, it's more so a level of my job is to protect and invest.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
Simple as that. And working to the best interest of the way that fits your budget, your lifestyle, your what you have going on, because it varies from person to person. But at the end of the day,
And I mean, I've had conversations. I've seen you, play out some of these situations with your clients, and you've been like, "This isn't going to work out for you."
it's literally like I look at it, not to cut you off, but I look at it kind of like being a doctor. Like you sit in the doctor's office.
Yeah.
You don't go to the doctor and then they look at you and say, "Look, you need some elbow cream." Like, no. You sit down and they ask you questions. They get to know things about your situation, what you have going on, and then
Yeah.
they prescribe a remedy to the or solution to that problem that you have.
Right.
And I look at it the same way. We're just financial doctors.
Yeah.
We ask you a bunch of questions about
What's
what
the
you got going on,
diagnosis?
get the diagnosis, and then say, okay, here's what I'm prescribing. I'm prescribing you an IRA. I'm prescribing you term life insurance.
And every now and again, you need to go back for checkups.
Definitely
You
go
need
back
to
for
go
a checkup,
back
please.
to
Come
get
for a
things,
checkup.
yeah, because things could be better, things could be worse, things could needs a little bit of tweaking
Or
because your lifestyle changed. Like,
let us know when there is a change.
yeah,
Like not just kind of ghosting and then things are just kind of getting derailed and we're over here like, wait, what's going on? Is
Yeah.
everything all right? We're calling, everything okay? And if we don't get an answer, it's like, doesn't seem like
it's
it.
like, okay,
And I
I
don't know
guess
how- I
they're
can't
no
help you right
longer
there.
interested. That's how I kind of take it. Like, it's like, okay, I guess they're no longer interested right now. And, it's not like I'll just debunk you, erase you from my life. Like, you're always going to be in
Oh,
a
yeah.
streamline of
For life
communication.
now.
But it's just easier, better. And I feel like we definitely need to work towards a open line of communication between, client and
Agent.
agent to just have those discussions because like there's so many things that you could teach us and we can teach you
Right.
to just be on a better track for really your life, like it, and it's a win-win for everybody if that open line of communication is in there, especially like if you don't want to be bothered. If you don't want to be bothered, you can just say I don't want to be bothered, or
Yeah.
I'm not in the place where I want to move forwards right now, but thank you so much for your help, and we can push it on the back end when you are ready,
Mhm.
But I definitely think that fear of overexposure or just lack of wanting to have to explain ourselves
Yeah.
and that culture that's been built
Like,
over
you
the
feel
past
like
few years is
you don't
just
have
like,
to explain yourself. You don't have to
yeah.
do that type of thing. And it's like, yeah, you don't have
It's
to.
kind of like a
but
detriment to these services though, because I
it's
feel like
in your 'cause it's in your best interest
breeds
to.
it breeds these scammer people. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because it's like, oh well, we don't need to. The two people who don't care about us, who cares? We'll just keep pushing and pushing until somebody's gonna bite. So it's like that's why you're getting the over excessive amounts of text, calls, scam likelies, because it's like they know the power in numbers, and they know the more they harass, eventually somebody's going to bite. So it's like if we had more people who say, okay, let's communicate and let's just kind of dismiss these services out of the way,
Yeah.
then you would get less calls. You would get less of that
Mhm.
harassment, that hounding, because you would have those loyal people that you trust, that you work with, and you wouldn't be afraid to answer the phone and say, I'm good. I already have a realtor.
Yeah. And
I'm
that
not
would make
interested.
them
Thank you.
put me on a do not call list.
Yeah.
And then boom. It's just that simple. Not a less scam likely, not a less that badgering from different places, because number one, you got the information from somebody that you know, like, and trust.
Mm-hmm.
And you got a source who can debunk all the other things that might be thrown at you, because it's going to be a lot. You might be listening to this podcast, and then you might see a ad for, oh, you want to buy this house, or oh, you should
Yeah.
this, that, and the
Oh,
third.
and
And it's like,
speaking of that, because I was just going to mention, the overexposure is going to go down as well, because we rely very heavily on the internet to
Mhm.
find things. And that's why we've had conversations where we're like, technically, you don't need us to find a house. Like, you can go on Zillow, find the house, and then, that's when we might step in to start contracting the deal for you. But to actually find the property, you don't need us. But it's in your best interest to use us, because you've erased now anybody who has your email, your phone number, your name, and can look you up and contact you once
Yeah.
you've signed up for Zillow, once you've signed up for these other sites. Now you've given away your information for people to contact you and to harass you.
Yep.
So you were the same thing you were trying to avoid.
What
You've
you
just
created.
said, sign me up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what creates all of these problems. It's like you wanting to just do it yourself, or wanting to just not have these communications, not having these talks. So you're like, I'm just going to go online and figure it out. Oh, well, now you're being bothered when we could have just figured it out. I could have put you on, my stuff that has everything that you need that Zillow has to offer you.
Right.
And the only person calling you is me.
Yeah, that sounds a whole lot hectic than getting the
Whole lot less
1-800
hectic.
less
Yeah.
hectic than getting all of
They're
that.
getting the 1-800s and the BS like that.
614s. You're like, I didn't even know this is an area code. Who is this? Messed up, answer the phone. You're like, ah. And you hear that, boop, and
So the
you're
moral of
like,
the story
got it.
is call us back. We miss you.
We miss you.
No, but yeah, ghosting is real. And I definitely think there's a way to bridge that gap. And,
Mhm.
time will only tell. And just staying true and connected to the people that you trust is the most important, I would say. So,
Yeah, or just
Yeah.
maybe and definitely sticking to a schedule. Like if you're, like you said, if you're not in the mood to be bothered right now, you're not interested right now. Now's not the right time. Get on a follow up schedule. 'Cause I know
Yeah.
one thing I ask is, when's a good time to follow up with you again? And
And it will be respected. If you
that's
tell me I'm only
4
free on
months later,
Tuesdays at 2, then you will only ever see me on Tuesdays at 2.
it could be January. You tell me, I'll be good in November around the 15th. I'm gonna say, okay, write that down. You're not gonna hear from me unless a wellness check, but up until then. But then I'll just say, hey, how you doing up until then? But other than that, you're not gonna hear anything
You're not going
about
to get
my
a text from me every
services.
week saying, "Oh, do this now. Do
Yeah,
this." Like, no,
it-
you told me
you
November
told me
15th.
November,
So,
so I'm gonna call you back in
yeah.
November. Say, hey, remember when we talked in January?
Mhm.
And boom.
That just seems more logical to me, but
Yeah,
we'll see
that's
how
on
it
our
plays
end.
out in the
Yeah, you know.
future. Well, as always, we love speaking to you. I'm Jeanette Johnson with Century 21 Connect Realty.
Isaiah Lies with Primerica Financial Services.
Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, share, tell a friend. We love having you guys join us every week. And don't forget to mind your business.